Hi, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of our Long Island Pickleball Pros podcast. I'm Frank Milillo, Pickleball Pro, and with me, I'm a trainer on Long Island, and joining me is my co-host, the amazing Sue Cormier.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Long Island Pickleball Pro podcast. I'm Sue Cormier, and I'm a pickleball instructor here on Long Island also.
And Sue, what else do you do besides just instructing? What else are some of your main responsibilities for pickleball?
Well, I take my pickleball very seriously, Frank. So, in addition to training, I work really hard at um, getting groups together,
Right,
people that want to get out there and meet other people. I work really hard at keeping the groups at the same level.
right.
I want everybody to be relaxed and have fun and not feel pressured. So, in addition to just, your basic instruction, I work really hard at making a community
Sure.
out of pickleball.
So we're both longtime players and certified pickleball coaches, and we're excited to be able to bring this experience to all levels of players here on Long Island and beyond. That's the intent of this pickleball podcast because we have a lot to share. We have a lot to talk about. I've been a long-time tennis player. My pickleball experience, I've been certified in two certifications with IPTPA as well as PPR. I also am a DUPA certified coach, so I can provide DUPA ratings. But there's a lot going on with pickleball, with tournaments, opening places to play, and how to get fully engaged in pickleball. So give me a little bit more experience, information about your experience and how you got introduced to pickleball.
Sure. Well, I teach at Topspin on Oser Avenue in Hauppauge. I've been there since they opened over the summer. Brand new facility, 8 beautiful courts. They've got some really great programs for beginners, advanced, and intermediates. It's really well run, very well organized, and I just love it there. I also teach adult ed for Northport School District and Huntington School District, and that is one of my favorite things to do. It's a great experience. I'm from Northport, so it's just a great addition to the community.
So how did you get started with pickleball? What was your first introduction to pickleball?
Well, that's interesting because I wanted no part of it, to be honest with you. My girlfriend has a court down in her condo community, and week after week, Sue, come play this new game. It's really cool. And I'm like, nope, if I can't crush calories, lift weights, build muscle, I don't want any part of it. So, week 3 or 4, they said, hey, Sue, come on down to the condo and have a glass of wine. I said, great, I'll be there. What time? And they said 5 o'clock, and we're meeting at the pickleball courts. So I got lured into pickleball through wine. I
Ah,
picked up a paddle, and I've not put one down since. I just fell in love with the game immediately.
and so as you know, that pickleball is part of a community, right? You grab your paddle, maybe a
Absolutely.
snack, and then you just get started and just start to play. Um, and that's the most fun part about this game is the community aspect of it, the friends you'll make, and on top of that, being able to play a sport that's enjoyable, that's competitive, that's something that's easy to learn, easy to play. Now let's start with the scene on Long Island here. Pickleball is booming, as you know,
Yes,
and there
yes,
are
it
more
is.
courts, more leagues, more tournaments than ever. You can play indoors, you can play outdoors, you can play casual or competitive. You name it. What do you think,
That's
Sue?
that's the wonderful thing about pickleball. If you have a bad shoulder or a bad knee, that's okay. We can help you compensate for that. If you're shy, if you're outgoing, if you want to burn calories, if you want to take it leisure, you make pickleball what you want.
Right, sure. And for beginners, it can feel a little bit overwhelming, as you know.
Yes,
And Sue, as you said, you make them feel very comfortable because we're willing to welcome any new players, any new people who want to play, because that's the part of it that makes it very fun and very enjoyable. We're very welcoming to the newcomers. So,
absolutely.
so now, tell us a little story about one of the people that you've met as a newbie trying to play on a court. I'm sure that's happened to you a few times.
It has happened. It has happened many times. I live right around the corner from Veterans Park in Northport, and it's very. For the first time, I walked up there by myself and didn't know how to paddle up. Didn't know when I went in. Didn't know who I was going to play with, but two ladies were sitting there. And they walked, they saw I was like a deer in headlight. They walked right over to me, showed me where to put my paddle, and they welcomed me into their game. And I love doing the same thing for other people. You can tell right away when someone walks up to a new place and they've never been there before. And to
I,
welcome them into the community.
I will say this. The other day, I was teaching all these beginners, right? And I said, listen, we want to get you ready so that you can go and play in the public park. And when you get to the park, you get to paddle up. And they go, well, what's that? What's
Right.
paddling? Explain to them what paddle up means when you paddle up
So
your
so most public parks have a rack,
right.
hanging on the fence. And if they don't, you just put your paddle right into the chain link fence.
Sure.
Um, our park has slots, four paddles in slot one, four paddles in slot two. Some just have a slot system, which the first four paddles go up. So yeah, you walk up, you put your paddle in the next available spot, you wait your turn, and hopefully there'll be someone there to to help you out.
Right. To
But it's
help
a very
facilitate the fight.
organized system, very controlled, very fair way for everybody to get in at their turn.
And the first thing I always say to people is you could go to any public park and you could paddle up, put your paddle down. Either it's 2 on, 2 off, or 4 on, 4 off. But here's what I tell them, though. And this is really important: play at your level, play at
Yes.
the beginner level. Do not overstep and think that, well, I'm going to play up because everybody's going to have fun and I'll get to learn at everybody else's expense. How do you handle that, Sue? What do you say to people when they say, I want to play up?
Well, I've actually gotten to be very good at it because I tend to be the mayor up at my local courts. People kind of look to me to get things moving along. I am more than willing, and I ask my friends that I'm playing with, a beginner, let's one game. We'll be glad to teach you, show you, but then I'm also going to help you fit in. Those ladies sitting on the bench over there are more your level. Or at 8 a.m., a nice group of beginners come in that you can play with. Um, Go to one of the local facilities, take a couple of lessons.
Right.
Everybody here has done the work. We've all taken the lessons and done the work, and we want to welcome you and show you. But you also need to not get frustrated with your game and play at your level. And, I only have 45 minutes here this morning. I want to just get in 3 or 4 good games with people at my level.
Right. And it's important. Well, you hit upon a really important part of the whole pickleball experience. When you teach a lot, you don't get to play competitively. I asked
Mhm.
one of the other pros who I happen to like, and I know, and I actually taught him. I said, so what's it like playing now? He goes, Frank, all I'm doing is teaching beginners. My game's falling apart. So you have to
Yes,
make a conscious effort to
yes.
play competitively. Like for the first time in 5 years, I'm actually paying to play on courts because I need to be competitive. I need to play more, not just play on my court with beginners. Interesting story about, and this is the best part about when you're on a public court and you teach people how to play because they kind of lost. What do they do after that? So they ask you, can you give me a lesson? Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Because that happened to me in one of the courts I was playing on. There was two people just playing by themselves. Now the courts are packed, okay?
Yeah.
But there are only two people playing on the court. And I said, so why are you just playing with yourselves? And they said, well, no one wanted to play with us. We're beginners. So I called someone else over. We played with them. And what do you think happened? I got 2 lessons out of it.
Yes, exactly. Yes. I was up at the court and I saw 4 ladies playing together, and they had and I'd seen them there several times, and they were trying really hard. And I just went up to them and I introduced myself, and I said, "Hey, look, I have 15 minutes before I have to get home. Can I give you some tips?" They were so happy and so appreciative. One of the first question that I asked them is, "Hey, ladies, when you come onto the court, why do you think we dink?" As the very first thing, we come onto the court, we're catching up and we're dinking. "Oh, Sue, it's a great warm up. It's dinking that's what we do. We dink to warm up." And I'm like, no, no, dinking is the heart of the pickleball game. So I showed them and I explained to them. They were like, I thought their heads were gonna explode. They were
Right.
like, we had no idea. Thank you so much. And I just, and then, yep, I got 4 week clinics for all four of them because it's not just about getting the ball over the net.
So the point of that whole thing, right? And that's exactly what happens with you and I. We both share the same experiences. I put them in leagues after that.
Yes.
I say, you
Yeah.
enjoy this? How about playing weekly? How about playing in an 8 week league? Or how about playing in a 15-week league? And they go, well, we're not ready for leagues. And I go, well, league isn't really a league. We don't keep score. We don't do
Right.
standings. Well, it's a social open play, and it's more like a seasonal. So you have eight. So I
Yes.
have 8 week seasonals, and I have 15-week seasonals in Rockville Center. I'm putting one together for Sports Set in Rockville Center. It's a health gym that has racquetball courts, but they also have 2 brand new pickleball courts. So I'm putting people in. I still need some people to play. So if you know anybody, that's what I'm trying to do is get that whole new thing with Sports Set. Um, so where do you put your league people when you set them up? Where are your leagues located?
My leagues are located at Topspin in
Right?
Hopog,
Okay.
and they have most facilities the Court Reserve app, and you simply go on the Court Reserve app, join organization, whatever the Rockville Center, Topspin, and you can see right there all of the open plays, and you would go into a beginner, seasonal, open play, league, whatever you're ready for. I work really hard with my beginners. I guarantee them that I will not abandon them. I'm like, I will not
Wait,
just
but
gonna take your money and send you on your way. I'm
you don't
gonna
guarantee them that I really do want to do this and guarantee them that they'll play 3.5 if they take at least a
if they stick
4
right,
or a 6 week learn and play with me. I want to
right,
guarantee that they'll play at the 3.5 level. I want to do that. I don't think it's feasible.
right.
So now, as you know, that's winter's breaking now and it's going to be spring, right?
I
Where are
hope
some of your
so.
favorite courts that you like to go to and play?
For outdoor?
Outside, outdoors, yeah.
Outdoor, well, like I said, Veterans Park here in Northport is a great spot. They have lights. It's one of the few places that have lights. So, day or night, I drive by. Keep my sneakers in my car. It's so great. That's one great thing about pickleball. It's just the pickup games that you can get. I've got 20 minutes before I have to get home and make dinner. I'm going to jump on the court. But it's getting harder and harder to get the outdoor court time
Because
because pickleball is getting really popular. I used to go up to Vets Park at night all the time, but now, and it's not a bad thing; it's a good thing. It's all kids up there,
playing pickleball?
like my friend, my kids' friends, all 20, 25 year olds. And not that I mind playing with them; they play beautiful pickleball, but they don't necessarily want to play with an old lady like me.
Right.
So, and the wait time is getting longer and longer. The level of competition is getting all much more jumbled and mixed up because it is getting so popular.
So now, one thing about that though,
And the
about
weather.
pickleball. Now, you used to play tennis, right?
No, I was never played
You were
any.
never a tennis player. So I
No.
played tennis for. I was the USTA captain of the USTA team for 15 years. I've been playing tennis since I was probably 15, 16 years old. And one of the reasons why I got involved in tennis is because I got hurt playing tennis, and I couldn't really play at the level I wanted to play at. And so it made it very difficult. And my
Right.
friend said, in Peconic, you see that dirt mountain. Now I was playing tennis every weekend in Peconic. And he said, you see that dirt mountain? They're putting in pickleball courts. I go, what's that? He goes,
Right.
we'll bring you over. I'll show you how to play. Once I learned how to play a little bit, I played tennis for an hour and a half, and then I go play pickleball for an hour and a half. And then the next year, he said, there's another dirt mountain. They're putting in 3 more pickleball courts. And from that time, he said, you should become a pickleball ambassador. And then I became a pickleball ambassador of Nassau County. And I kind of gave up on my tennis. I was trying to play both. And then I met with Mayor Murray and I said, you should put pickleball in Rockville Center. And Mayor Murray said, talk to Karen Polito. And Karen
Right.
Polito was the acting superintendent of Rockville Center Recreation. She told me, look, we have no pickleball courts here because everything is booked with roll arounds and birthday parties and all other events that I run here with the kids. And then COVID hit. And once COVID hit, then there were no more children's activities, and all
Oh,
they could
yes.
play indoor was pickleball. And so that's
Right.
where my pickleball career started
Oh,
right
good.
there in Rockville
Smart.
Center with Karen Polito and Maya Murray. Now, the one thing about tennis, though, is they're always tennis players are always throwing shade at pickleball players for taking their courts. Oh, you're taking my courts. You're taking
Uh-huh.
my courts. But you
Yes.
and I know the problem with tennis as opposed to pickleball is if I was going to go play tennis, and the reason why I got hurt playing tennis was because I was playing tennis 5 days a week. After COVID, all my friends were calling me, let's go play tennis. But you had to have 4 people on the court or 2 people on the court. With pickleball, you just said it before. All you do is show up a park,
Which is
put
so
your
great.
paddle down, and all you're doing is playing. You don't need to have other people. So I play in Merrick Park a lot. There's Baldwin Park, there's Merrick Park, there's a park in Valley Stream, and there's like Newbridge Park, there's Siemens Neck. There's a number of different places you can play outdoor that are welcome. You can come in, put down your paddle, making sure that you play at the right level. But they're all pretty much welcoming, provided you play at your level.
At your level. That's so important that people realize that. Yeah, I agree.
So let's get into some tips about playing pickleball so that we
I'd
won't
love
bore
to.
the advanced players so much about talking about the beginning of pickleball. Okay. So in terms of picking up your pickleball journey, there are a few things you should focus on. You should focus on first in pickleball. Okay. And the most important thing is we'll be sharing these tips as part of the podcast. As you know, there's some actual help me improve my game tremendously when I play. So give us one tip, Stu, that you think of when you're playing pickleball.
First thing that comes to my mind is consistency over power.
Thank you. Yes,
I feel it is way better to make every shot count, make every shot have a purpose, make every shot have a thought behind it, rather than to power that ball, slam that ball, and only make half of your shots.
that's important.
Consistency.
Yep.
Less
Consistency.
is more. Less is more.
So I always talk to my beginners in that this game is not just trying to hit the ball with your paddle. You got to be in position to do that. And that's really the most important thing is to hit the ball with a purpose, as you said. And there's also footwork, right? Tell me a little bit about footwork.
Yeah, or lack of footwork, maybe. I could even say no movement when you hit the ball, shuffle to the side, control. Don't I always say, like, when you're running through the ball like a crazy person, it's like trying to run and pour a glass of milk at the same time.
That's a good analogy. I like that. I have to use
Thank
that.
you.
I
And
like
by
that.
I always say then by milk I mean wine, actually.
Right.
So um but yeah, your stance is really important. Shoulders over hips over toes. No lunge. Don't pull your foot back. Don't pull
Sure.
your paddle back.
Those are all the things that are important in terms of hitting the ball over the net. Not just hitting the ball, but hitting the ball over the net and making
And
sure you hit it to the right person, the right spot on the court. Now, I'm going to give you another tip, and that is the soft game. Now, what's important about the soft game is footwork is important. You want to drop the paddle. And I saw this on a pickleball podcast on Pickleball TV. And there was a guy there, he's a pro, Mike Manassas, and he was talking about put the tip of the paddle down and then lift the ball up for a dink. Okay. And that makes all the difference in the world. So
yes,
I tell my people, spread your feet as wide as you can go, drop
yes.
the tip of the paddle. The ball should be almost in the middle of your stance and then lift the ball up. And you have to move your feet side to side so that you can get the ball over the net and not have it higher than the net. And you know what happens when you start hitting a ball above the net? What's the next thing you do when you do that? People complain about this all the time about the advanced people. They
Slam the ball.
correct.
Right. And this is a lot of what I teach the beginners. It's not Sue, how do I get that ball that they're slamming back at me? What do I do? Teach me how to get that ball that they're driving at me, slamming to me. I'm like, well, the the key to that is to not give them that ball that they can slam and bang. It's you don't get it. You don't get that ball hit to your feet or slam to the ground. You prevent your opponent from doing that.
The important part of that is when you're dinking is to keep the ball in the middle of your stance, bend your knees, right? And
Yeah.
once you're in the middle of your stance, bending your knees, that you have the chance of lifting the ball up. The lower you get hitting the ball, the lower the ball's going to go over the net. If you're standing straight
Yes.
up, you have no
No,
reach
you can't do it.
at all.
How low can you go?
So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about the serve too. So we did a little bit about the control. We talked a little bit about the footwork, which is extremely important in the whole game, right? So tell me, how do you teach your serve? What's important about the serve?
Well, especially for beginners, I teach your serve doesn't have to be anything special. It doesn't have to be a drive or a spin or, have power. Just get it deep. Get that ball as deep as you can so that you keep your opponent back and make it hard for them to return deep.
That's right. So you don't want
Just
them
a
running
nice,
up on a
simple serve.
short serve, right? You don't want them
Right.
running up.
Absolutely not.
Keep it deep.
Yeah.
But more importantly, keep the serve in. Make
Right.
sure you get your serves in. Take your
Consistent.
time. And the way I describe it is point the ball to the people you're serving to, point your feet to the person you're pointing to,
Yes.
that you're serving to, point the ball there and you paddle there. Now, sometimes I'm a little harsh, but I do it with love. And I tell them about serving. And I say this to beginners: if you can't serve, you can't
You
play.
can't play. Right.
And not play, because the most important part of this whole game is to serve. Now, with the serve, you're not hitting the ball at you. The ball's not being hit at you like 50 miles an hour. You're not moving your feet per se to hit the ball. You're basically standing there, taking your time. So there's no reason why you can't get all your serves in, or at least 80 to 90% of them. And I tell them about the serve. You don't want to be the one that when you come on the court, they say, don't pick Mary. She can't serve. Okay? That
That's right.
happens all the
Poor
time.
Mary.
Yeah, poor Mary. That's you can't play. All right. How about positioning? So what do you think about positioning? Give us a little tip about positioning.
It's so important. Like I can't even trying to explain to my players, dinking is important, serving is important. But if you're not in the right spot on the court at the right time, you will have no game. I play with two of my girlfriends in particular. One girlfriend is better. Mary is better than Ellen.
Right.
I lose when I play with Mary because her court positioning is terrible. I win when I'm with Ellen
Explain to me
because
where her court positioning is,
oh,
though.
she's
I mean,
standing in the back. She's standing off the kitchen line. She's standing in the middle. She's standing in the back. Big tennis player. She plays tennis. She's got that big swing. Um, and I'm up in the front. And then I try to play in the back so that at least we're together, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't gel.
because she's not coming up, right? She's standing
She's
back by the
not coming
baseline,
up. And
not coming up. And what
right.
happens when you're not coming up?
Well, now she's letting the ball bounce. She's letting the ball land below the net. She's letting it bounce. So then she has to lift it up, pop it up. Or she's running through the ball like she's a
Because she's
freight
told she's
train.
got to come up to the no volley zone line, so she's running up.
Right.
So the things that you don't want to do is you don't want to stand by the baseline. You want to, your job is to come up to the no
Absolutely.
volley zone
Yeah.
line.
For many
And
different reasons.
the other thing is, as you're coming up, right, you could be stuck in no man's land. But what's the most important thing that you do when the ball's coming at you? Stop, right?
Absolutely.
Hit the
Hard
ball.
stop.
Split step, hit the ball. So, but people who stand in the back, and this is what I tell them all the time: when you're standing in the back by the baseline, or if you're in no man's land, and all you're doing is watching your partner hit the ball to the other side, you're not coming up, you'll lose every point, every game, every match. The
That's
game
right.
is played at the no volley zone line, right? You have to be able to be
Absolutely.
at the no volley zone line to win the game. When both of you
Right.
are up, you control the court, and that you can't hang back. You have to be able to come up. So tell me a little bit about balance, though. How important is it to be balanced? So when you talk about how to hit the ball, you tell them what to move from the back foot to the front foot. So when you explain to them about the forehand and the backhand,
It's really important um to stay the more in control that you can stay with your balance and your stance,
right?
the better off you're going to be. You don't pull your paddle back because that ball is going up in the air. Don't turn your paddle around. Don't take the ball right in front of you with a backhand. That's just a bad habit of so many beginners will turn their paddle around
Yes.
instead of taking it forehand. When you're running in to get a ball, paddle out in front, paddle stretched, forehand, and just hit the paddle right over the net.
So the most important part about that is make sure that you're in control and that you're pointing in the right direction to get the ball over the net, which means shoulder down, drive through the ball, hit the ball in front of you. And the most important part of this whole thing is to move your feet. You have to move your feet on every ball.
Constantly.
Every one of those balls, you have to move your
That's
feet.
right.
So now, above all, pickleball social, right? Now,
Very
explain to
social.
me, it's very social. And here's what I tell people about it being social. The thing about pickleball, it was invented, I don't know if you know this, but it was invented in 1965 in the state of Washington in Bainbridge Island, right? Um,
I would love to talk to those guys, Frank. I would love
I,
to
I
know.
want to play this, Sue. I want to go there and play on that court because it's still there with the net and
Oh,
everything.
really?
It's
That's
still
funny.
there.
Yeah,
The
I want to
house
know
is
what those
there,
guys were thinking.
the
Yeah, that's
net's
great.
there, the driveway's there. So when he came home, the kid said, "We're bored here." And so he said, "Okay." He went to the garage and he got a badminton net, cut it down, strung it across the driveway, and he made the court the same size as a badminton court. It's 44 feet long, 20 feet wide. He set the lines up as like a tennis court. Sidelines, baseline, center line for serving, but he put in the no volley zone and no volley zone line. Now, you and I, by taking our PPR certification, they never called it the kitchen. I've taken two certification courses to become a professional pickleball player. They never called it the no. They never called it the kitchen
The
because the
kitchen.
kitchen has no word meaning. It's the no volley zone, the NVZ. But only people who've taken those courses understand that. Even on the podcast, even when the announcers are talking about it, they're always talking about the kitchen. So from 1965 till now, it's the fastest growing sport in the US for a lot of good reasons. One, easy to learn, easy to play, real easy to get really good at. It's extremely competitive, right? But what's the
Right.
most important part of the whole pickleball scene? The
The
socialization.
social. I have met lifelong friends. I have met lifelong pickleball friends. Um, it it's my happy place. It has changed my life. I know people that aren't into pickleball that I explain that to think I'm crazy, but it has truly, and almost everyone that's involved with pickleball will tell you it has changed your life.
Right.
Nothing makes me happier than when I go over to topspin and I'm setting up for my lesson and I look across the facility and I see 5 or 6 women that took my adult ed classes that 8 weeks ago were total strangers, and here they are laughing and having fun and playing on the court. And I'm like, look, I did that. I introduced those people.
That's
I made them friends. I, that's half of my job.
sure.
And it warms my heart.
Right, absolutely. A friend of mine sent me a picture and said, "Frank, I won MVP of my league. And you know what? I owe this to you because you're the one who got me started and got me to play at the level I'm playing at." So there's nothing better than that. So, Sue, going forward, what are we going to be talking about in terms of other topics on our podcast? Because we're going to be wrapping it up now. We got through this already, but this is just the beginning. What do you think we'll be talking about next?
Frank, I have so much to say. This is only the tip of the iceberg. I
Exactly.
want to talk about strategy. I want to talk about how you get into tournaments, who should be playing tournaments, what tournaments are the right fit for you. We'll be highlighting players and clubs all over the community. Constantly talking about new places that are opening up, places that I prefer to play.
Yep.
Um,
All those things because that's a tremendous part of the Long Island pickleball scene. It's getting big. It's getting bigger. Some people say, "Oh, it's just a fad." I had somebody on one of the forums tell me it's a fad. It won't last. I go, there are billions of dollars being
yeah.
poured into pickleball. Enley Waters just signed a $50 million
Right.
contract. This is not
Didn't
a fad.
didn't people say that about the World Wide Web? That it was only a fad, it wasn't going to take off?
All right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. The World Wide Web. WWW. Good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So everybody who's listening to this, you might be on our show. We're going to be welcoming callers. We're going to be interviewing people by inviting them in. There'll be a lot going on with pickleball. We want to make sure that you don't miss any of the action. We'll try and keep you up to date on the appointments that we have, keep track of places to play, and make sure we provide the information, the times that you'll be having on the court. We'll be having guest hosts, having people who run clubs. We'll
Yeah.
have sponsors, run the gamut, pickleball and all. This is going to be a great time, and we want everybody to participate and enjoy what we have to say.
I know for myself, I could talk about pickleball 24/7. I love getting other players' perspectives, owners of different clubs. Like to hear what they see going on. Um, top players and how they got there, what they think is important in the game. Just there's just so much that there'll be to talk about.
And there'll be a lot of people who want to participate in this. I can tell you right
Yes,
now.
and we're gonna have a
So,
lot of fun doing it too.
so the funny part about this is when I said to you, we'll probably make this around 25 minutes. I said, I'll talk 25 minutes. You'll talk the next five, but we did a good job.
I think so too.
We both can do the same thing. So listen, if you like today's show, be sure to subscribe wherever you are. Make sure to get our podcast fakes. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. My Facebook is Rockville Center Pickleball, Long Island Pickleball Pros. Follow me on longislandpickleballpros.com. That's where you'll find my leagues, my clinics. I also have merch. I also sell paddles. I sell diadem paddles. I sell Holbrook paddles. I sell merch, shirts, t-shirts. And you can get in touch with me there. There's a page where you can get in touch with me. So, Sue, where are we going to see you? How are they going to get in touch with you?
You can get in touch with me through topspin.com, their website, their Facebook page, Instagram. That's probably the best way to get hold of me. And Frank, I can't wait we'll have a whole podcast just talking about paddles.
Oh,
I
yeah, for
I
sure.
could I scare myself how much I know about paddles. I know way too much about pickleball paddles. But you have one piece of equipment other than your sneakers. Let's get it right. So we'll be talking a lot about that.
And it's funny about pickleball, right? The cost of entry into playing the game is just a paddle. You
Right.
just need a paddle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But you and I both say the same thing. Do not buy those cheap
No.
Amazon $20, $50 paddles.
Yeah.
You're going to buy a paddle, come to Sue or I. We got the best
Yes.
paddles for the best price. And these are real live, not bootleg Chinese paddles, but we have real
That's
manufacturers that
important.
sell paddles.
Absolutely.
Okay. Um,
Yes.
Sue, anything you want to close on?
I'm looking forward to our next podcast, Frank.
Yep, this
Can't
is
wait.
great. Can't wait either.
If
Thank you
we can
very much,
spread if we
everybody.
can
We'll
spread
see
some
you.
good information to people, I'm all about that. Spreading real good, truthful information about pickleball.
And
Yes.
spreading the word about
Yeah.
pickleball on Long Island.
Good. Good work,
See you
Frank.
all. See you all in the court. See you next Wednesday. Thank you, Sue.
Okay.
Talk to you.
Bye. Bye, all.
Bye,
It's been a
everybody.
pleasure.
Great job.
Great.